Is the personal bankruptcy world getting back to normal, whatever that is, in 2023? I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a personal bankruptcy attorney in the Atlanta area, and I've been representing clients for well over 25 years. And you know, when the pandemic started, things really changed in the bankruptcy world. For years and years, I've been filing Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcies, and the numbers have kind of gone up and down over the years, and typically they go in cycles. But when the pandemic hit in the beginning of 2020, basically bankruptcy filings stopped. Nobody was filing bankruptcy, and obviously there are many reasons for that. One was that many people lost their jobs, they didn't have anything to lose, no reason to file bankruptcy. The second was, and more practical, is that many of the courts closed down. There were no hearings, certainly not for civil matters, for money matters. There were no repossessions. All the banks stopped foreclosing. Lenders stopped repossessing vehicles. Lawsuits stopped. It was really, everything kind of got put on hold. And really up until, really throughout most of 2020, 21, and even into 22, there was still a number of limitations, either voluntary or by law, that creditors were following, that were not pursuing aggressive debt collection. Well, by the end of 2022, that really had started to change a good bit. We started getting a lot more calls about repossessions, about foreclosures, lawsuits, and wage garnishments. And as such, I've started to notice the bankruptcy numbers begin to creep up. So I think that bankruptcy is getting back to maybe where it was pre-pandemic, not quite the same numbers, but the same factors that drove people into bankruptcy before 2020 are again facing hardworking folks now in 2023. And obviously, the big one that I'm seeing is repossessions. A lot more vehicle repossessions. Lenders are a lot more aggressive in picking up vehicles sooner. We're seeing a lot more foreclosures, and that's partially driven by the value of real estate. There was a big bump in value in 2021, and then it started to decline a little bit in 2022 when interest rates went higher. But we all have seen a number of situations where property values have increased, certainly in the Atlanta area, so that lenders have more motivation to foreclose. Obviously, if they take a property back, there's equity in it, they can then sell the property, get their loan out of it, maybe even make a little bit of money, whereas before that wasn't necessarily the case. So I think many of the factors that drive personal bankruptcy are back. I think the biggest thing, again, is that creditors are a lot more aggressive. I know people who do creditor work representing lenders, credit card companies, vehicle lenders, mortgage lenders, and they're filing lawsuits more. The courts are opening up. Many courts are doing hearings virtually. In fact, the bankruptcy court does hearings virtually now, meaning that instead of going down to court, you actually do it by phone or video. That infrastructure has kind of been built up now, so it's a lot easier for the courts to process many of these lawsuits and claims that were not being done before. So I think that if you were holding off on filing because you thought maybe nothing was bad was going to happen, things were just going to stay without any sort of action, I think that that's kind of over now, and I think that if you've got a situation, especially if you're employed, where you are facing a repossession, foreclosure, you have something to lose, in other words, it's worthwhile to talk to a bankruptcy lawyer. And one of the themes that I always try to stress to folks when we're talking about bankruptcy is it's better to talk to a bankruptcy lawyer sooner rather than later. A lot of reasons for that, and obviously I hope it's me, but if it's not me or somebody in my firm, I think you should talk to some bankruptcy attorney, because you don't want to make some of these classic pre-bankruptcy mistakes that I see sometimes, things like transferring property or consolidating debts into a new loan. These are things that can really hurt you. It's much better off, and my attitude is, if the bankruptcy is even a possibility coming down the road the next 6 months to a year, talk to a bankruptcy. It doesn't cost you anything. Talk to an attorney, bankruptcy attorney. Get a sense of what you need to know so that you're prepared for it, and you won't throw good money after bad. You won't do something that's going to make it impossible to file. Even if you don't file, at least you have more knowledge than you did before. So anyway, I think big picture here is that bankruptcy and the forces, maybe is a better way to put this, the forces that are driving people into bankruptcy, those are coming back into play now. And so that if you are in a situation where you're exposed financially, you don't have a lot of cash reserve, you're potentially facing lawsuits or repossessions or foreclosure, talk to a bankruptcy lawyer sooner rather than later, and at least you'll know more about what the process, how the process works, mistakes to avoid, and that way, if you do have to take the difficult decision to file bankruptcy, you'll be ready to do so. Again, my name is Jonathan Ginsberg. You can reach me at 770-393-4985. Our law firm is called Ginsberg Law Offices. You can also visit us on the web at atlanta-bankruptcy-attorney.com. More than happy to talk to people. We don't charge for phone consultations. And again, if we can be of assistance, happy to do so. So again, I hope you don't need me, but if you do, we are here for you. Thanks a lot.